On November 29, 2007, an anonymous user posted a disturbing message on the 4chan forum. If anyone can guess her own publication number correctly, I'll tell them where she's buried. Along with the message, the image of a teenager appeared, which generated an immediate and understandable shock among users. The first thing you should know is that in this simple forum, 4chan, every time you post, a publication number is generated that is visible to everyone else. Every second, posts are made in this forum, so this number increases so rapidly that guessing your own publication number is almost impossible. Several minutes passed, and everyone thought that this post was a farce. Many users tried to get their publication numbers, and when they thought no one would succeed, one of them got it right. The original author responded by fulfilling his promise with words, "Winter, here you go," in some specific coordinates. The coordinates pointed to a seemingly random location among the trees. Shortly afterward, the police found her body there. The girl in the image was identified as Emily, an 18-year-old student who had disappeared a few days earlier. By the time the coordinates were posted on 4chan, police had already begun investigating her disappearance and had identified a suspect. The investigation revealed that Emily had been seen last on November 23rd of that year, after leaving a bar with a man named Israel. The two had been drinking at a Chinese restaurant in El Dorado, but after leaving the bar, Emily never returned. Evidence collected by police pointed to the involvement of Israel, who before being questioned had fled to Mexico. However, the seriousness of the case allowed authorities to extradite him to Kansas for questioning. During his testimony, Israel told a very implausible story. He told police that he had found Emily dead in her room, and in a panic, he put her body in the trunk of his car and took it to the house of his 16-year-old girlfriend, who was pregnant at the time. The curious and disturbing thing is that the coordinates published on 4chan were posted shortly before the police officially announced its location. This fact raised suspicions. One about a possible internal leak in the police force, and another even raises the possibility that the murderer himself was the author of the publication. Without a doubt, a terrible episode in which this social network was involved. But that is not all. This is just a sample of one of the least disturbing things that you will hear about in this collection, where we will go through some of the least known but most chilling threads of this social network. Because my name is Leonore Clay, and this is The Darkest Secret. Today we present the most disturbing, real and sinister cases I have found on 4chan. So for those who still don't know what 4chan is, it is a very old internet forum. Currently, memes, questions and answers, requests, curiosities, among others are posted here. But from time to time, and always remaining faithful to the ruggedness of its origins, 4chan appears with threads like this. On Christmas Day 2014, a 4chan user posted the following message. I bought a Wii U, but it was broken. I opened it and found this inside. A brown, oval-shaped object. What is this? Intrigued, the user wrote in his thread that he thought it could be some animal that had gotten in there by accident. However, at the request of people who asked for more photos, he shared images that showed how he had opened that cocoon, revealing that that strange brown object was actually a spider's nest. He commented that fortunately, the spiders seemed to be dead. In his own words, he said, "At least the spiders are dead. Whatever happened, either an egg that hatched too early or an egg that never hatched, maybe the spiders couldn't get out, and they grew to maximum capacity and devoured each other. They all look pale, as if without skin. Minutes later, he posted a new photo saying that one of the spiders had survived, and this is when this whole thread descended into chaos. The thread became popular and began to attract many people. It was here that other users warned him that this was not a spider's nest. That thing was a wasp's nest, that the spiders had perhaps gotten inside somehow and were paralyzed. If not dead, they would wake up soon. Another user told him that the live spider looked like a brown recluse, also known as a violin spider. They are extremely poisonous. Many users advised him not to provoke the spiders and take immediate precautions. In his last update, the user reported that the spiders had begun to move, so he left his house quickly and called the exterminator from his cell phone. He closed the thread by saying that it was disturbing to think that something so dangerous had been growing inside his console without him knowing. Could the spiders have gotten here on their own? Consider that already someone had sold him a damaged console. It never turned on. Therefore, someone was going to open it to repair it. If the story is not a fabrication, one might think that someone tried to sell him a death trap. Someone could have placed that nest on purpose, knowing that the spiders were paralyzed and would soon wake up. Someone would open this console to repair it, and then the person would be bitten, putting his life at risk. What you're gonna see here is an example of how far the twisted nature of the human mind can go. The case of Dr. Gloves on 4chan is one of the darkest and most disturbing stories that have spread in this community and in other parts of the internet. It is so dark that it is even difficult for me to narrate it, and furthermore, I will have to censor many things. You see, the story originated from a series of threads on 4chan in which a user, apparently a doctor, shared chilling anecdotes from his work under the nickname Dr. Gloves. Supposedly, the user behind Dr. Gloves claims to be a doctor or health worker with access to patients, but what he did was extremely sinister. He reported having carried out questionable and even upsetting medical practices on patients who were in states of vulnerability, as if anesthetized or unable to defend themselves. The details were vague but macabre, revealing a disturbing psychological profile that enjoyed the power and control that his position allowed him. When talking about his actions, he used a tone of dark humor and apparent lack of empathy that deeply disturbed those who followed the thread. People did not believe him and told him that he was a con artist, someone who only sought to disturb people. They encouraged him to upload photos to prove that what he said was real. Well, this is where everything took a leap into darkness. The subject began to upload images where he is seen in an apparent clandestine laboratory, holding what clearly were, well, maybe you can get an idea of what he is holding in his hands. Consider that he had access to women's pregnancies, many of which ended badly. Well, instead of discarding it like normal doctors do, he took those beings home. Although they had already died, that does not make his actions any less reprehensible. The subject claimed to do unconventional experiments in his laboratory. He published photos and more photos of these interventions, but even those who asked for evidence were completely traumatized by the images that this man began to upload. These are just the least disturbing ones I can show you. This is more proof of what is said out there, that sometimes doctors who work in morgues or things like this are somewhat mentally disturbed. The worst thing is that this man wanted to publish his perversions to the world. Another disturbing case was found in a thread where the user posted the link to a YouTube video which led to a strange publication. In the video, you can see a subject telling his audience that while walking, he found a strange hole under a tree. That hole was not normal, since there was a smaller hole inside, which a disturbing solid structure could be seen heading towards the depths.
So I didn't notice this before last time I was here because it was in a rush and it was a lot darker out, but it looks like these stairs used to go up further. I don't want to talk too much, just I can't really anticipate if anyone's going to be around here. I don't hear it.
He reveals that he had already visited this place before, but that on this occasion, he decides to continue descending those endless stairs that take him to a place that he never imagined finding.
Sure if I can post this on YouTube.
After several failed attempts, at the end of that claustrophobic place, he finds something of an abandoned shopping center. A place that he begins to explore stealthily, since he was aware that he was immersed in a situation which escaped all logic. But the most culminating moment of the recording comes when he suddenly realizes that he was not alone. When you watch the video for the first time, you wonder, who in their right mind would go down so deep and without company? But you would also wonder, if it is false, then how can someone make up the fact that there are such deep stairs? In fact, how without cuts he seems to reach a shopping center. How in this context does a shopping center end up here? Without a doubt, this case is extremely fascinating, with a recording that could easily be the plot of a good horror movie. However, the hole and everything inside is made with ultra-realistic 3D textures and shaders, similar to what happened at the beginning with the dark rooms. Films of this type make us reflect on the incredible technological development that has seen the light in recent times, with increasingly realistic images created thanks to AI, because of course, perhaps he made a 3D render, but then he asked AI for more realistic images. However, the owner of this video, Kane Pixel, is the same creator of Dark Rooms, a pioneer in handling realistic 3D textures. As time goes by, it will be increasingly difficult to differentiate what is real from what is artificial. Neet, Hickey, is another disturbing post that has shocked 4chan users. For those who don't know, Neet is an acronym that stands for Not in Education, Employment, or Training. In other words, it refers to people who have avoided social life, work, and school. Withdrawn and submissive people who, due to their social phobia, are capable of spending months or even years locked up without any contact with others. A condition that a 4chan user claims to have taken advantage of in the most disturbing and troubling way you can imagine. In 2013, this user posted a concerning comment which said, "A few months ago, I invited a guy from IP to come live with me. He was more of a Neet who couldn't get money for the treatment of his autism. But since my parents are rich, I could offer him everything he wanted. But in exchange, he had to live with me and receive injections of female hormones, in addition to taking care of himself and dressing in nice clothes. As of now, he's quite happy. I buy him a lot of things, and the hormone treatment is going well. As you can see, his skin is getting soft, and he's gaining weight in all the right places. He has a pretty good collection of figurines in a small space under my bed." A publication that undoubtedly caused great impact at the time, above all because the user uploaded an image of his room with the subject under his bed. It's blurred for obvious reasons, but let me tell you, his body did look feminine. We conclude this video with one of the most disgusting and alarming posts ever uploaded on 4chan. An anonymous user decided to share a distressing glimpse of their daily life. He published a confessional text detailing the precarious situation in which he lived, accompanied by shocking photos that showed an almost uninhabited environment full of filth. His story attracted immediate attention from the community, which reacted with a mix of horror and fascination. According to his story, the user confessed that every night he stayed up late surfing the internet on his phone. Meanwhile, the accumulated garbage formed piles so high that they hid the soil beneath. He had stopped worrying about cleaning, and the flies that infested his home fed on food scraps and other waste. He described how his living room table was covered in dirty dishes, with rotting and unrefrigerated food, while cockroaches and other vermin had become regular visitors. His home maintenance was minimal, and doing laundry had become a rarity. When he managed to do so, it was only to prevent the cockroaches from taking possession of his clothes. In fact, he mentioned that the maintenance person at the property even asked him why his windows were always foggy. an outward sign of the conditions in which he lived. The user also shared that he had not cleaned a pile of dirty diapers for quite some time, which had accumulated for years, and which added another level of unhealthiness to his situation. The details continued to get worse. The floor of his home was littered with fragments of all kinds of garbage, and the stench of a stinky carpet permeated the air. His refrigerator was stained with filth and was collecting a puddle of stagnant water that was turning an orange hue, presumably due to the growth of mold and bacteria. Then he posted a box of rancid cream that was obviously moldy. The always creative users of 4chan asked him to open it, revealing its disgusting interior. But it didn't stop there. The guy said it smelled like hell, and that incentivized his audience to motivate him to put it in the microwave. He did it and uploaded the process. While it was warming up, he updated saying that the smell had become so strong that he could smell it from outside his house. Then he posted that apparently the thing had exploded inside. Still, the audience asked him to upload a photo eating it. This is 4chan. In his last reflection, the user shared a somber thought about his loneliness. The only interaction he had with other people was the occasional greeting from his neighbors when he went out to walk his dog. He admitted to having no friends or family to care about him, and envisioned a sad fate, being found as a rotten shell in his computer chair, surrounded by filth and neglect. This disturbing tale quickly became an extreme example of the realities some people face in the age of digital loneliness. For many, it was a reminder of how isolation and neglect can lead to a life in inhumane conditions, while the world watches from a distance through the screen. The case went viral in the 4chan community and other forums, sparking debates about mental health, social isolation, and the living conditions that sadly some people face in complete silence. Which of all the cases presented in this video had the most impact on you? Leave me your opinion in the comment box, because this video has come to an end. My name is Leonore Clay, and this was The Darkest Secret